Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Nathan and welcome back to the Stack Saloon. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you'll know that I love the Moomins. I have quite a large collection, as you can see here, of mugs, figures, play sets, plates, bowls, pretty much anything you can think of. And for the past year or so, I've been collecting this Deagostini Moominhouse, and I've been having it shipped to my grandma's house in the UK, and I finally brought everything back. So you can see there's, I believe, 110 issues of this. Now, in this particular magazine here, it gives you a full breakdown of how the house will actually look once you've constructed everything. And this actually folds out. Here we go. So you can see the full house. It opens up. You know, there's minute details in there. It's basically a dollhouse. But you can see all the little floor plans for each floor, the attic, third floor, second floor. Got the bottom floor there. There's like outside sections. I believe the bathhouse is even part of this as well. And then of course you get all the little figures. But I'm going to start building this today. And the way I'm going to do it, rather than bombard my channel with, you know, videos and videos, I mean, this thing could probably take, what, 20 parts if I really showed you everything. I figured I would just focus on the exciting parts, if you want to call them that, or at least the, you know, some of the major pieces of this. There are plenty of videos on YouTube where people are showing this, you know, step by step, but I feel like that would be a little bit boring. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the main parts. I'm going to show you the first bit, because I believe the first part is Moomin's bed, actually, in issue 1. So we're going to build that. And then once this is complete, I'm going to build a diorama around it, which obviously that's going to be completely custom, my own design. So that's going to be fairly interesting, I would think. It's going to be interesting for me to put together anyway. First time doing anything like this, really. But yeah, so let's get into issue 1, and we're going to make a start on this. So we'll start off with a quick look at issue 1. So you can see I've got a nice image of the house on the front with Moomin Troll, and then same image of Moomin Troll on the back. So if you look into this, so these issues are kind of a mix. You get, obviously, the instructions for constructing the house. Tells you what you get in each issue. I do have the parts here that came with issue 1, and of course Moomin Troll, little figure. But that's the content. So like I said, it's a mixture between how to build the house and also some, you know, in-universe information. So how the Moomin house was made. You know, you've got some nice illustrations, and then on to the actual instructions. And as you can see, from what I can tell anyway, obviously I've not started building this yet, it seems to be fairly straightforward. Like I said, it's similar to building a dollhouse from what I can see. It's like balsa wood, you know, dollhouse furniture. If you've worked with dollhouse stuff, this seems pretty similar. And you can see, like I said, you're building the bed before anything else, which I thought was interesting. And if you look at the list of parts, you can see here's the bed. You've got the mattress, the bed frame, and then the rest of this is part of the steps leading up to the house. But that's what you get in the first issue. So let me just, yep, that's the end. So I'm going to go ahead and start building this. Like I said, I'm going to show the key parts of this. Obviously, I'm not going to be building this in one sitting, so this is going to take probably a few weeks, I would think. But yeah, I'll bring you along for the ride with this. So I just wanted to show you the first little piece that you're building here. So they make you build this, which is the beginnings of the steps, and you have to cut one of the pieces into 3. They're only joined by little pegs, basically. You can kind of see them there on the edge. And then they do give you a piece of sandpaper to use. You can see I've been using it there to, you know, just sand away the little edges from where you've cut it off. And then you also get a little piece of wood glue, or a little bottle of wood glue, I should say. So all I've done here is just added the back piece that just slides in, the two sides, and then the front just glues on. And it says that the other pieces will come into play in the second issue, so you've got to keep those safe. But now we're moving on to the actual bed. So far, seems very easy, fairly straightforward. Obviously, you've got to use some glue, but it's, yeah, no issue so far. So here's the bed. Now, the entire frame is made out of metal. So basically all you do is you slide, there's little pegs in the headboard and the footboard. So you slide the actual base into those pegs. And then the mattress itself actually has a mattress cover on it. So you can see this little piece of wood just slides in. And then this, you can see it has some tape on the bottom. So you actually wrap a little piece of, it's almost like foam, in this cotton. And then obviously fold it over. And then just place it on the bed, like so. And you can obviously glue it down. That tape on the bottom is double-sided, so you can peel the back off. But I feel like it's better just to have it just sat there. But here's the Moomin figure to go with the bed. But yeah, really impressed with this. Like I said, all metal. Very sturdy. You can see this, you can just pick this up, it's not going to fall apart. And yeah, really intricate build. So that's the entire issue 1 done. So you get first part of the steps and the bed, and then just some small pieces. But yeah, overall, really straightforward. So I think I'm going to move on to part 2, which is, from what I understand, Snufkin's tent. So I'm going to show that just because it's Snufkin, so I've got to show it, and then we'll move on. So issue 2, like I said, this is Snufkin's issue. I do have something interesting I want to show you about this one, but first off, let's just take a look. So, same format. This is what you get with this issue, and obviously, like I said, you're building Snufkin's tent, and it looks like you're finishing off the front porch steps, which we started in issue 1. But again, we have a mix of information about Snufkin. You've got family tree, you know, information about the character, some, like I said, some lore, and then you get into the actual construction. So you're doing the steps first off, and then the tent, and then we get Snufkin on the back. But like I said, well, here's Snufkin first of all with his tent, but I actually have this issue in Japanese. So this first came out in Japan, so I started ordering it on eBay. So I have issue 2 here, and it's the same, you know, the same magazine basically. There is a little piece in the middle that folds out just here. This piece folds out. It's basically advertising the add-ons, which I did get. I got all of these. You can see you get extra figures and a mat, and then some more accessories like the bridge, the little well, the mailbox, and then all these food items, decor, things like that. But it's interesting that in Japan it comes in a box, you know, an actual proper box. Here's the back. And when I ordered this from the UK, it just came in a regular cardboard box. The magazine was thrown in, all the parts are thrown in. But in Japan, of course, everything's better in Japan. They get a nice little box with everything displayed. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that, the difference between how this was released in the UK and Japan. But I'm going to get this open and we're going to make a start on Snufkin's tent. So I've got the front steps complete. I do need to clean up some of the glue once it dries, but for the most part you can see how it looks. Basically you slide in each step, and then the riser, and then the step, the riser, and then you glue the sides on, and then the top just slots in. You can see there's some pegs on the top, and that just, you know, solidifies it. I will say make sure you glue the steps because they do slide out very easily, but yeah, once you've got it all together, it's fairly straightforward. There's a little bit of messing around with it, but it wasn't too difficult. But now it looks like we're assembling a coat stand, so this should be interesting. Okay, I really had to point this little section out here. So I'm starting off on the coat stand. They make you push these tiny pieces out of these little wooden blocks, and you can see it's really easy to screw up. There's still a little piece of what I assume is one of the feet in that little thing, so I'm hoping I've not screwed this up, but I got all the rest of them out. But yeah, this bit is very finicky. Okay, so I think this is probably the first annoyance I've had with this. This thing was really annoying to put together. The feet, you had to slide them on. This is one of the things I broke, one of the actual hooks, so I had to put a little bit of glue. It does recommend you glue pretty much everything, so it didn't really matter. But then when I was pushing the actual pole into the base, it doesn't want to go in. It's a super, super narrow base. Like, there's a little slot on the base. I tried to sand it down. It just would not go in. So as I was pushing it down, one of the feet snapped. So I've glued that back in place, and it seems to be looking fine anyway. But just be careful with that. It's just the pieces are so, weak. And they really need you to apply pressure to, to push these things in. It's just, yeah, it's annoying. But anyway, coat rack is done. Now we're moving on to Snufkin's tent. So this should be a little bit more fun. I'm curious to see how easy this fabric is to put on, to be honest. The mattress was fine, so I think this should be okay. Seems to be a lot of double-sided tape involved, but yeah, we'll see. And just like that, we have Snufkin's tent. It actually wasn't hard at all to do this. You just start off with the plastic frame, you put double-sided tape on all of the edges, and then the cloth or the fabric is just in one piece, so you just drape it over, press it down. Here's a little Snufkin figure you can see, but yeah, you can see from the bottom, it just pushed in place. I didn't bother with that front piece because it's not really needed. But yeah, you can see. And I also didn't put anything on the front, just because I thought it looked better, like just being slightly open. Yeah, I just like having that opening. I might do something with the inside of it eventually, so I want to, leave that open for now at least. But yeah, I'm glad I've got this first few pieces done. And yeah, that's issue 1 and 2 out the way, out of 110. So you can see why I'm not going to show you every little piece of this. I just want to show you the first few pieces. And of course, Snufkin's tent, iconic. So I wanted to show that as well. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Please remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Until next time, see ya.